Welcome to LandAcademy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show, where we show you how to buy unwanted vacant land and sell it for more on the internet. I'm Steve Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We are your hosts. With over 15,000 completed transactions, we are the experts in this niche land flipping business.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at LandAcademy.com. All right, let's get this show started.
Steve Butala here for LandAcademy. Welcome to our Cash Flow from Land show. In this episode, Jill and I talk about our stages of success and how you can speed yours up, learning from our mistakes. Jill, it's a cool show. Mm-hmm. Hey, before we get into it, as always, let's take a question from a caller.
Okay. Nate from Minnesota called in and asked, by the way, he called in 888-735-5045 and asked this question. Can you subdivide rural land?
Oh my gosh.
I know. Good question for you because you've done this.
All right.
So there the answer is yes.
Your job in the next 45 minutes, your job, Jill, is to make sure that I don't sound preachy.
I was going to say, or they used to say stay awake. As I get into the ins and outs of subdividing rural land, Jill, poke yourself every few minutes.
I talked to our producer earlier, and he said, you know how you guys, you say you only have 6 callers? You should stop doing that.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Because people start to think you have 6 or 12 callers. And the truth is this. Our show is doing incredibly well. It's doing way better than I ever thought. And it's a lot of fun to do it. It's like I say, it's the best way to avoid real work that I can think of in the middle of the day.
Exactly.
Okay, so subdivisions. There's 2 types of subdivisions. This is a popular question among our members because it's so incredibly profitable. There's 2 types of subdivisions. One was designed a long time ago to help farmers or ranchers break up big, huge pieces of property into smaller pieces of property so they could give it to their brother-in-law or their daughter or whatever. So you got a 360-acre ranch. You want to break it out into 40s and give it to people for Christmas, that kind of thing. And that's the kind that we do and that we love. The second kind is, where you live. It's where somebody really went through entitlements through municipalities, hired a bunch of people, put roads in and sewers and all that. That's not so much for our group. However, ridiculously profitable. They're both incredibly profitable. If you're a very, very young person and you're looking for something to specialize in real estate, doing subdivisions, you can't go wrong. So back to the first kind. Yes, you can subdivide land and almost everywhere. It all comes down to the rules and regulations. So here in Arizona, and we've done it several times, you take a property like a 40-acre property, and you can, just by rewriting the description, and I'm not going to go into detail because Jill needs to, you can squeeze in a manicure right now.
I sure could. Just kidding. No, it's all good. No, I like this.
You can take a 40-acre piece of property, and just by rewriting the descriptions, and not going to get into the detail, you can turn it into 3 10s and let's say 2 5s. Is that math right? 3 10s, 30, yeah. 40 acres. And
that'd be funny if you did like 4 10s, a 5, a 2.5, and a 6.
You know how they say, you're not making land anymore. You better buy it. You just made some land.
You just made some land.
Create some property.
Yeah, you sure could.
So, check long before you do that. What you're really doing, look at it another way. That 40-acre property has an APN, assessor's parcel number. You want to break it up and make it into more APNs because smaller properties sell for more per acre. So, yes, you can break it all up in a lot of places. If you follow the rules, get some new APNs and sell it for a lot more. I've done it many, many, many times. There are different rules everywhere. Just check.
Yeah. Well, even if you just thought about taking 140 and having 220s and just getting, payments on that, you could probably sell it for the same price.
Yeah, exactly. So look at it like that. You own a 40-acre property and you sell it for $200 down and $200 a month for a really long time, or you can get 220s and do the same thing. Now you're making $400 on the same investment. So yeah,
exactly.
That's a great way to look at that, Joe. That's a great way to bring it down to how much more profitable it could actually be.
Right. And people love and it's still considered, when you bring it down to 5-acre property, now it's not so big for some people, but when we were talking 20 acres, everybody can still has plenty of room to roam, and you feel like you're on versus a 40. I think it would sell just as well.
I do too. It's more about, I agree with you completely. It's more about the attributes. Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about the 4As in a really long time.
We have not talked about the 4As. You want to bring that up?
If I can remember them.
Oh my goodness. Do you want me to do that?
So acreage. Well, we always want to buy property that contains some version of the 4As. You want to really make sure that not one of them's not completely left out.
And this is Steven's own system. Steven came up with the 4As. I love it.
A lot of years ago, I had an acquisition person who was really struggling, and I just came up with that like on the fly, standing there. Mm-hmm. So acreage, the more the better.
Yep.
Access.
Yep.
Can you get to it or not? Mm-hmm. Attributes like is it close to a lake, or it's a great place to snowmobile? Is it close to the Grand Canyon? And affordability.
Mm-hmm. Yay! Ding, ding, ding.
The cheaper, the better. Because I wasn't out drinking last night like you were.
Listen, there was a wine tasting event. It wasn't just a casual pub crawl.
Yes. What was the name? Nate. Yes, Nate. You can subdivide land, and you should really look into it.
Yep. Great. So what's this show about?
We have a member. We have a member. This is a hot topic on Success Planet right now. We have a member who is seeking out counties where it's easy to do this. Mm-hmm. He's so convinced that, he's regularly very successful like we are, but he's now seeking out counties where it's easy to do this and then buying land and doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, once you get one under your belt, you know exactly what to do.
Because you talk to the same 3 people at the county.
Exactly. Hey, we're doing it again. Yeah. Great. And then it's going to get faster and easier every time. That makes so much sense.
I got a funny story about subdivisions, and then we'll move on to the real topic of this. So this is a lot of years ago. We did this. We took, there's a rule in Arizona where if you subdivide a property, or you just cut it up, let's call it, you take a 40 and do this, and you can break it down 5 ways. Mm-hmm. And the regs are completely different. If you go 6 and over, you're subject to an incredible amount of stuff.
Right.
So we did it like 3 times in a county here. And then we went to do it again, and everybody in the county said, no, we're done. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Isn't that what you're...
Yeah. What happened the last 4 or 5 times you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've decided that you guys from Scottsdale, I'm quoting.
What?
You guys from Scottsdale, that's enough.
We're not letting you play that anymore?
Uh-huh.
You're kidding me.
No, I went nuts.
Yeah.
I went to go see.
What if I'm in Minnesota? What if I'm somewhere else? And then I can do it?
It became a Scottsdale. Well, Scottsdale is up, in case everybody doesn't know.
What?
Scottsdale is a little known for being uppity, although I don't think it really is.
It was discrimination.
It was a evil yuppie from Scottsdale. That's what we call it around the office now.
Wow.
Or we did then.
That's what they were referring to.
Yeah.
You as us as.
They just didn't want us because they knew what we were doing. We're buying property.
What's wrong with that?
I agree, Jill.
Gee, I'm sorry. I'm willing to bet that on the car dealership parking lot, he's probably selling it to me more than what he's going to get. There's a profit in there somewhere. I'm sorry. What am I missing?
Some people at counties get really, and I'm not so sure they're wrong all the time, but they get really, they take it personally when people from out of their area are buying their property. They don't know what they're going to do with it. They just get concerned that, there goes the neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
So you got your way in the end?
What ended up happening is we all got together. This is maybe 10 years ago. Because I wasn't doing the subdividing. I had a full-time engineer, and the brunt was falling on him. He was like on the front lines, and he's like, look, we can do this, and we can fight this fight, or I can just go one county over, and these people love me over there. So in the end, I pulled back and said, all right, why upset people for no reason and start lawsuits and stuff? So we just went to the next county over. Or it wasn't that physically the next. We just moved on to another county in the same up there, and it worked out great. It was fine.
It's fine. That's crazy.
And by the way, I'll tell you, I could drag this out for 45
Sure, you
minutes.
could. Yeah.
The county makes a lot more money the more APNs they have.
It's true. They get more
They're very motivated.
Taxes off of this. That what they did to you makes absolutely no sense other than someone didn't want to do their job.
I really think it was a evil yuppies from Scottsdale thing. I know it was.
That's silly. But you have to get everybody in agreement. That's just dumb.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So the topic today is our stages of success. Mm-hmm. And my whole point is not to talk about our success as much as it is to help people who are starting in this business make a little outline, like a little Roman numeral outline, like you're in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. Or like you're in one of the business classes that we help out with at NAU.
Like at the university, right? So what do you think the first one is? I took no notes for this. This is coming right off the top of my head.
Well, you know, I thought about this, and I think I approached it from a less analytical. I approached it the Jill way. How about that? Let's just say,
I'll wreck it with the Steve way.
Totally. That's what's going to happen. I'm just kind of laying it out right now because I'm going to tell you what I think phase 1 is, and I hear you now. You're going to say no.
Every single day of our lives together.
No.
Jill wakes up all happy, and we're all flush with money, and there's no reason to be upset about anything. The weather's always perfect in Arizona.
It's true. We got trips coming up, and
right about 10 o'clock, I'm wrecking everything for her.
That's true. Everybody's crying. Just kidding. Nothing just going right. I thought it was this great idea. I've just been told it sucks.
Okay, let's hear it, hippie.
All right, hippie. So here are my stages of success. But I looked at it like a business, okay? So here I have 5 stages.
Good.
Do you want me to give you all 5 and then in order?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll give you mine then too.
Okay, I came up with it's the idea. That's stage 1. Testing is stage 2. I have startup now, which is go for it, and it better be taped together. Don't spend a lot of money. That's stage 3. 4 is your full-fledged business, and then 5 is your coasting.
Yeah, mine's
so different.
Yeah, no, it's very similar.
Is it? Okay.
You just have different words for it, but it's awesome. And you're a little bit heavier on the front end, and I'm a little lighter, and I'm a little heavier on the back because, and I just think that's reflective of the stuff what we've like startups that we've been through in the whole thing.
I like it.
So I'm like, my first one was research.
Okay.
Because I've never looked at, whenever I started a company or looked at it, I never sat under a tree and had a light bulb come off my head and say I had an idea.
Got it.
I really I went through it backwards, like, or wait a minute, what's most profitable, and then did research.
Got it.
So I never said, I really would like to be in the hog slaughter business or name it. Mm-hmm. It was never business specific for me. It was always money first. Mm-hmm. So then I think mine are like research, startup, what is that? Research, startup, and then institutionalization, where you're sitting there saying the startup worked, and we're doing great, and it's all a mess.
Right.
It's a big, huge mess, and I got to institutionalize this, get everything organized, bring the right people in.
Right.
And then, what is that, 3 stages?
That's 3.
So institutionalize. 4 is, bring it on home. Mm-hmm. And then 5 is exit. You have to figure out how to get out of that. You should never start a company.
I missed that one.
Never start a company or a marriage unless you know how it's going to end.
You just love to say that. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Here's a topic. Isn't it funny how much time we spend on upfront research on like businesses and stuff, but not with marriage at all, or even friendship? Let's say friendship. I don't want to upset people. Do you really sit there?
That's a little scary when you think about it. You're right.
It's all based on a feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that guy.
I'm in love.
Or even friendship.
How do you know it's going to work? Did you do your homework? How do they look on paper?
Yeah, no, nothing like that goes on.
Are they a mass murderer?
Yeah.
You might want to do some checking.
It's okay on Facebook.
Exactly. Or the swipey thing.
Yep.
Swipe, yes, no. What? Tinder. That's it.
Oh my gosh. How do you know about Tinder?
I've seen it. I don't have it.
You cracked me, Jill.
So
you are full of surprises. There's never a dull moment with you, not even 1 minute.
I've seen it. I got to tell you something funny. Last night, at the wine tasting I was at, I actually sat next to a woman that out loud said, I'm on 3 online dating things right now. She was talking about, and she's 42 or 40 something. And she's dating a 30, he's 10 years younger, this guy. I'm like, nice job.
I bet he's getting something out of it too.
It was hilarious. Exactly. It was good. Yeah. So we were cracking up. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. What were my stages?
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this. Your stages are
let's line them up against yours.
I'm going to do this. So your research, this is good. This is a good call. I like this. A good show. Your research is my idea and testing kind of rolled into one.
Right.
You had to have some idea. You just jump into the research and testing, but we're both doing some testing and running some numbers, making sure this makes sense, whether that means finding out whatever you're going to sell, where can you buy it? What do I need to do this? What's my customer base? Where am I going to buy it, produce it, market it? You like where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay.
I do very much.
So what else is missing for you in the research part?
Nothing.
Okay.
That's the time that it's so much, you want to hear something funny? Some of the software that I choose, that we use for a lot of different specific little tasks in our databases and stuff. I don't choose it on necessarily what I think the best software is. I choose that software based on how much education is available. Oh. So if they have a whole channel on YouTube on how to use this and what can go wrong, and if it does, how to fix it, I will choose that over maybe something that's better and cheaper. But I have to talk
the learning curve.
I have to talk to somebody on the phone who's just really doesn't know the product. And yes, exactly, the learning curve. So I think that maybe some of that's appropriate here. We have a lot of members. The reason I bring this up is that we have a lot of members who really get stuck in this stage.
Yes.
I bet there's a lot of listeners that do that too.
Yes.
They just get stuck trying to, and then what I was just going to say, the startup phase, which is my number 2.
Yep.
That's what I would call that a commitment. Now I'm ready to, I've decided I'm making a commitment.
It's great because I called it startup, go for it. So it's the same as commitment. Now you're in.
And man, you better make a commitment.
Yeah, you better make a commitment.
You do it halfway, and then you sit around and wonder 2 months later why this isn't working. That's the answer.
Yep. And by the way, this is awesome because a good point I want to bring up is don't spend a lot of money.
Yes.
We joke about everything taped together, but we did that for a reason because you don't want to invest a whole lot of money here. You want to have your money for other necessities, not making sure you have the best office and you're driving the perfect car and your business cards are great and your you're wearing the nice suits. You want to hold back your money for the necessary business expenses to make sure this thing takes off.
Yeah, there's only two. This is appropriate time to talk about startups. There's exactly two ways to start a company. Mm-hmm. Number one, you do it there's the Wall Street way and the Main Street way. So when Wall Street or somebody that's involved in all that starts a company, the first thing they do is they go raise a bunch of capital. They put up a proposal together, or a plan, a business plan, some version of a business plan, and they shop it to private equity groups, and they raise a ton of money, and they get the right people and pull in experts and the whole thing. And then they obviously have an exit in mind, but that's one of the ways. That's the Wall Street way to start a company. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is selling yourself on your experience and stuff, which is why you and I, so many people are throwing money at us right now, Jill, because we're on the show now telling everybody we know exactly what we're doing. It was an unintended consequence. I wasn't even looking for it. Mm-hmm. The Main Street way is what we did, or what I did, where you're sitting at your coffee table saying, and you did one deal and you're saying, oh my gosh, this actually really works. I haven't spent $1. All I did, in my case, all I did was buy one property and sell it for more than double what I bought it. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a phone or any of that stuff.
Right.
When you say tape together, that's what I love that phrase. Mm-hmm. So most of our listeners, if not all of them, well, apparently there are some Wall Street people listening because they're calling us. Yeah, the vast majority of our people are, you're sitting at your coffee table saying, you know what, this isn't a bad idea. Maybe I'll throw a tiny little bit of money at it, see what happens.
I'll get the ebook. I'll put something on Craigslist.
Get as much free stuff as you can. I love it. Just to see if it's right.
Listening to this show, they might be buying a property. They might be doing some things and going, oh wow, I guess people are calling me. It was free.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
So your number 3 was what?
My number 3 was full-fledged business. And what did you call yours?
Institutionalization.
Institutionalization. I love that.
That's the point where, hey, you like it. I know it works. Just about everything I'm doing is profitable. It could be an ice cream store. Hey, people are coming through the door. It's going great. I'm going to maybe I'll hire a couple people. Maybe I'll open another store. You know, they obviously like the product. They like the people behind the counter. Maybe I can do this one more time. Maybe I can buy the place next to me, make it bigger. Institutionalization.
Well, now I can afford the staff I needed.
Yeah.
Now I can afford this. I can get the better equipment. You know, I'm not making it myself in my garage now.
Yeah, out of the garage.
Yeah, that's
a great way to say that.
Yes. Not that we've done anything like that.
Like, I've done this. You know what? I'm qualified to talk about this.
You are qualified to talk about this. Let's talk about that for a minute. It's amazing. You didn't burn off every hair on your body.
What?
We know what
Burn. Oh, yeah. A long time ago, a lot of years ago, Jill and I started a mint. So we were manufacturing gold and silver, putting it into, like, stamping it out in coins and stuff. And what a great business. But I'll tell you, it's probably
fun.
3% margin business.
Yeah.
And the business that we're in now. I didn't start the mint. You know, this is way after the land. Land has always paid for everything. You know,
it was just a crazy idea that we had that we thought this would be something else to do also.
Paid for multiple failures.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't fail. Like, we didn't sit there and cry and lose a ton of money. It's just that I always ended up disappointed.
Because it never matched land.
Yeah.
That's
exactly
what happened.
So.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing my failure up, Joe.
No, it was not a failure. It was a proven thing, which is why we're here. It's a good thing to talk about.
I'm just teasing you, and you got to fail before you succeed.
It gives you, Stephen, more credibility. Because tried other things, nothing beats this.
Exactly.
So, okay, so that was 3. 4, I called it coasting. What did you call it?
I called it.
Because it's before exit. 5 is exit.
I don't know what my exact phrasing was. I think ramp it up. No, bring it home. I don't know. Yeah, I just called it bring it on home, man.
Okay.
You know, now you're set. Really, what it is you're staging the whole thing to kind of end. You know, it's like a lot of companies at this stage, they go public.
Oh, go public. That's a good one.
Let's use Walmart for an example. I mean, his story is great. Sam Walton's story is great. So he borrowed money from all his relatives. They had up to their ears in debt, and they had 6 or 7 stores, or some number of stores. It wasn't just one in Arkansas, and they didn't have any money. Then the stores were making hordes and hordes of money, and they were at a point where they proved the concept. The consumers loved it. They just proved the concept. Now they just needed a ton of money to take it to the moon. So they went public, raised a ton of capital, and then dealt with the stock as they may. I mean, for an ice cream store, I don't know what that would be. It would be like the pre-Cold Stone Creamery thing.
That's true.
Maybe it's franchising. They're setting themselves up to franchise it out. They've proven the concept. Now let's franchise it and exit that way. For us, it would be... we're in that stage where we're just killing it. We're buying and selling land left and right, just counting the money. And, LandAcademy is part of our pre-exit, part of that whole thing.
Well, and we are almost with the deals that we do with our members. That's kind of like a franchise, I think, when you really look at it that way.
Right.
So that's a great way.
You and I have never talked about our exit strategy. I don't think it's always been in my head. We're going to save that for another show.
Okay. Well, then just say 5 is exit and we'll leave it for that.
That's it.
That's good. Okay.
Hey, join us in another episode where Jill and I disclose our exit strategy and your all-important success in real estate investment and in life. You and I are good at this.
Why have we never talked about that? Isn't that funny? It's push for more and more and more. I never thought about the end. I know that needs to happen. I just kind of forget about that sometimes.
Yeah. I'm famous for implementing stuff in my head and then wondering why everyone doesn't understand.
That's true.
Some people call that lack of communication.
Yes, we do. Stephen has whole conversations and whole business plans and he never shares them. That's very true. There's spreadsheets that have been created, never shared, never uploaded. Great. And I am supposed to know.
The whole exit for all 5 of these companies is being implemented every day. I mean, on that path. And Jill and I have never talked about it.
It's true. Maybe, you know what? Maybe part of it, though, is consciously, subconsciously, I know that you're thinking about that, so I don't have to.
I think that's great. Mm-hmm. That's why I said we're good at this, because you don't have to. Mm-mm. I'll handle that stuff. Mm-hmm. And you handle that, answering the phone at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, as much as an accident that was. You know what I mean.
Exactly.
Let's go buy some property.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at LandAcademy.com.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
LandAcademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.